Hi, everyone. Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center, and I'm excited to have with us today Mark and Shannon, whom happen to be basically the owners and operator of a business that help accounting professionals market their services and take on new clients doing something very, very specific. It's doing seminars, presentations. It's literally getting out there and having a voice in the community. So one of the things that I want to do is just first of all mention that Mark, Shannon, we met at ProfitCon just recently, and we had a nice little conversation there. It was wonderful meeting you there.
Yes, it was really great.
It was really great.
And it was great talking to you. We kind of sat down at lunch with a group of other people. And what I love about ProfitCon is the caliber of person that it attracts. It attracts people who are interested in not just doing finances, but doing finances in a new way and really trying to educate people and spread a more holistic approach to wealth and to business. So it was great connecting with you there.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure as well. It was just nice to have a casual, common conversation right there at the table together. And I thought that was very, very nice. Now, before that, though, you had actually been on stage, the two of you, and you shared some of your story, partly how you had met and what you're doing. Share that. I think that's something that people would appreciate.
Yeah, totally. So, today with Big Impact, we work with experts and speakers and financial experts to really help them get more exposure and reach more people, specifically with speaking and their presentation skills. How do you talk about what you do, whether it's from the stage, one to many, or one-on-one? It's all presentation and communication skills. So that's basically what we do. And we've been in the business together, Big Impact, for about 6 years, but about 30 years collective experience between the two of us. So it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we're products of what we would call the empowerment industry. So we've walked on fire with Tony Robbins. We've done Landmark. We've listened to all the tapes, all the way back to, those little things called cassettes. The little things, Nightingale Conant and Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar, kind of the fathers of personal development.
I just have really good skincare, Roger. Yeah.
Very, very good, very good. Well, when you said Earl Nightingale, I'm excited because that's one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Acres of
Gotta have
Diamonds.
a voice for it is how I say it.
That's
All right.
right.
So what I want to do, let's do this. You just brought up, Shannon, the one to many. And one of the things that I learned early on in college when I was going to school is that the voice and our message needs to be very, very thought through as to how we communicate with people, because what we say is more than just the words we use. And so I liked how you were bringing that up, that one to many, because whether you're an accounting professional going to a networking group or meeting someone and giving that 30-second or 60-second elevator speech, or you're giving a 5-minute presentation, whatever the duration, we all have to have something we can say about ourselves that's compelling, engaging, and that's what you guys talk about.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's important for people to understand that when you have two different types of people, one person talks in front of a group of people and it doesn't really get them anything. Another person talks in front of a group of people and they get people approaching them. And I think some people think, well, they have the gift of gab. And what they don't understand is that the person who's getting people approaching them has a methodology. They have a system. There's a code. There's a way of breaking down your communication with language patterns and communication patterns. And when you study those patterns of what work, like from Martin Luther King Jr. or from Gandhi or Steve Jobs or Marianne Williamson or even Oprah, there's a system that people use. And when you learn that system, you can move from having a great relationship with numbers and maybe feeling awkward with people to having a great relationship with people, so that you can help them have a better relationship with numbers.
Mm-hmm. I love how you explain that there's a formula, there's a process to this. Accounting professionals, I think, like that there's a system they can kind of subscribe to or implement and trust that it will work. I mean, that formula gives them a sense of security, and to know and believe that there's one in speaking can be very reassuring. You mean if I actually followed a specific process, I could have a predictable outcome in my story delivery, my public speaking?
Yes, exactly. And, it's common. Public speaking is still one of the top fears. It may even still be the number one fear. So it's common to have some apprehensiveness, the butterflies, like, oh, the sweaty palms, that's normal. And what I've found after now working with thousands of entrepreneurs and professionals is when they have a system to be able to lean back into, it raises their confidence and their certainty. And so if you're listening and you're like, oh God, public speaking or presentation, if that kind of freaks you out, know that there is a system.
Right.
There is a formula. And that's exactly what we teach. Our system, we call it Speak Your Path to Cash. And to date, our clients have generated close to $25 million using our 3-step signature system.
And it's really, really simple. And what I really want people who are paying attention to this is we see how hard entrepreneurs have around money. They have a hard time talking about money. They have a hard time managing money. They usually are pretty good at spending money. But there's a discomfort with the whole concept of money. And you think that because they're a business owner and maybe they're generating revenue, they don't have what we call money share. But they do. And so we really want to embrace the financial professional that has a methodology such as Profit First and others to help entrepreneurs to be able to grasp that. And so what I want them to know is that through a simple process, there's also a whole inner game series, which is different than what you're dealing with when you're dealing with checking boxes and spreadsheets. When you are looking at changing the way you communicate, you're really changing the fundamental operating system of how you think. Because the way we communicate, the language we use, the nuances in our face, our body language is all from a concept of modeling. We've modeled different kinds of models in our life. Well, who did you learn to communicate from? Mostly your parents, maybe some teachers. And what kind of results does their communication get them? So you want to start to ask yourself, how was I programmed to communicate? And that's a default that we are really good at helping you shift and break. It's a disruption to the patterns that keep you stuck in your business so that you can have new choices in the way that you operate your business based on the language and the way that you communicate. So it's a powerful transformation for you and your business.
So one of the things that I'm hearing, and I think it's applicable to accounting professionals, is oftentimes we recognize when we're starting and building and growing our businesses that we have to get out there and talk to business owners. We have to get out there, find where they gather and congregate and have a message, a story to share with them that resonates so that they want to ask us how we work, what we do, and how we can help them. And one of the things that's popular nowadays is storytelling. That's one of the things that a lot of people kind of gravitate towards. So can you share a story yourself of how you've helped someone kind of overcome their fears, implement a process, and in the end have a story or a presentation that resulted in new clients, new revenue?
Yeah, totally. So I'm thinking of Marcy
Nice. Okay.
Maslow. She's a CPA. And she came to us and she was pretty nervous about speaking. And she was starting to get a lot of opportunity for more presentations.
Specific around ethics.
Yes.
And doing continuing ed with ethics.
Yes, ethics within the financial services industry. And so she was getting asked to speak more and more often, and it was kind of freaking her out because she's like, oh God, And before she started working with us, I mean, she was A, nervous about speaking, and then B, she was kind of boring. Honestly, she was a boring presenter. So she
very scholarly.
Yes.
So it was kind of facts and not a lot of personality.
And she was an expert within her field. Like that was, she has more letters and credentials behind her name than, the letters in her name, right? And she's got a big heart and really wants to serve. So the credibility was there, but the speaking skills, the presentation skills, the confidence and the certainty to really know what she's going to say to impact the audience. And then not just to get compliments or cheers, but to actually get clients. And so she came to Big Impact Experience, our 3-day event, and we helped her with how to get the speaking gigs. We do really fun little speaker skill drills, so you get practice time with a small little audience with groups of 4 or 5, so it's safe. And we just got her out of her shell. And we just saw this new woman emerge. It was really incredible. And she's dancing and loving life and cracking jokes and and I think within within 60 days, maybe even 30 days of attending our event, she booked 6 speaking gigs. She monetized all of them. Now she's speaking, like I haven't seen her in a while because she's speaking all the time and she's loving it. She's like, I love speaking now. I'm having such an impact on my clients. She's been able to raise her rates as well because now her audience and her ideal clients are seeing her true expertise because she's on the stage. So the authority and the respect has gone way up.
Yeah.
And so she's been able to charge more for her services.
I also think it's important to draw attention to someone named Jennifer Jost. Now, Jennifer Jost is a financial planner. And when she came to us, she's like, I have a story to tell. And we're like, what do you mean? She's like, look at my website. So we went to her website, and this is a woman at 29 years old. Her and her husband were going through a divorce. And he got really, really drunk and took her 2 kids hostage.
And this is tough. Okay,
this is literally an 11-hour hostage negotiation like you see on TV. All the cops there, the hostage negotiator, and all that. And it ended with him killing the kids, shooting the kids, and killing himself. Mm-hmm. And here she is, 29 years old, and her life is completely altered. And so she started going to bereavement counseling and group counseling. And she said, I remember I'd been there for 6 months. And there was this couple, and they were just puddled. They had been dealing with this for 5 years. And she's like, there's no way in hell I can deal with this for another 5 years. And so she was able to really heal herself from that. And she's like, how do I take this story and tie it into helping women with their finances and being more responsible around wealth attainment and understanding that? And we're really good at taking your unique story and positioning it for you as a leader in the marketplace so that people see you. When you tell a story like that, whether it's big or small, you don't need to have a big story like that, but when you have a story which allows people to see that you have this through line in your life that is taking you into the world of finance, and therefore you have a wisdom to share, it's very powerful for the audience to know, love, and trust you. And that's one of the things we're really, really good at, is it becomes the foundation of your message and the foundation of your brand, based on the things that you have lived and the things that you've gone through.
I really liked what you shared there, because I can see in both instances someone becoming vulnerable and open so that they're more approachable. And from an accounting perspective, many of the clients that we end up working with, the business owners, they are looking for that trusted strategic advisor that they can be open with and confide in, because there's a lot of information that's found in the numbers, and there's an intimate relationship that business owner then builds with that accountant as you're talking about things no one else knows. And so I could see in the storytelling, opening up and letting yourself be a little bit more approachable, because all of a sudden it's not just the facts and the figures. It's not just showing that you know your stuff and are that expert, but that you're also approachable and caring and loving, and you're a person, you're a human. There's a humanity to it. I like that you're talking about the presentation in that context. And this is done just so that we can be clear, whether it be in a 30-second commercial or in a 1 hour long presentation, you still have to have that ability to become approachable and be someone that people can relate to. So I like this. So what advice would you have for someone that is in the process of starting an accounting business? They're either considering starting, have started, they're working with a few clients, they're maybe just getting out of their comfort zone and just starting to market their services. Why is speaking such a great means to generate new clients?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think is really important for both a new accountant or someone in the financial services or an established person is to you got to look at your business model. And the first thing you want to look at is you've got to look at where you're going and reverse engineer. And whether this is something you want to do, is like you want to become really, really big at what you do and have a huge impact, or whether you just want to have an impact in your own backyard and spend the majority of your time traveling. Whatever your outcome is, you can use speaking to get there. But I think it's important to understand you want to move to what we call a leveraged business model. Okay. And what we mean by that is not getting paid hourly. You know, you could be a kick-ass accountant or bookkeeper and charge $85, $100 an hour or more, but eventually you are capped, because when your business is full, your income is capped.
Or even charging, based on, tax returns, or, that you might not be in an hourly model, but it's still capping your income of, okay, well, if I do your tax returns, then I'm making $1,000 or whatever. So you want to start to move from that mindset of per service or per hour into more of a consultative model.
And we'll circle back around to that. But I think it's important to look at conventional wisdom says, get a website, get your social media rolling, and learn how to do funnel work and get people coming through you on the digital space. Definitely important, but not the place to start. As a business owner, when you are getting established, you've got to understand there's phases that you're going to start your business in. We call them the 3 phases. And it's about sequencing. And what this allows you to do is to get out of the overwhelm of everything that needs to be done and run your business and just focus on this phase. Because what we see is people come to us, they could be generating $1 million a year or $50,000 a year, and they're still trying to do all the things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we found is the best place to start is when you are starting your business, you need clients. You need revenue because money's coming in and money's going out. You've got space, you've got computers, you've got taxes. You've got to be generating revenue. So you got to get comfortable with that, and you got to land on your message. So specifically, what problem do you solve, and for what specific group of people do you solve that for? How do you talk about the way that you solve that problem that's unique and different in the marketplace? So phase one is all about getting revenue, creating profit in your business, and understanding how to talk about what you do. Mm-hmm. Once you're generating about 10 grand a month, pretty regularly doing that, now you move to phase two, which we call leverage.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for somebody starting out is don't wait to start speaking. Right. Okay, a lot of times people think, well, I'm not ready for speaking. Oh, that's a strategy I'll do later when I create my website and my logo and my business card and social media and blah, 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 all those things. And in our first 10 months of business, we generated over $400,000. And we did that without a website, without any social media. We didn't even have a business card, Roger, okay? When we first started, we knew our message and all the points that Mark just made. We knew exactly who our ideal client was. We knew their problems, and we got out there and we started speaking on small local stages. We're not talking arenas full of thousands of people.
Or conventions.
Or huge conventions. That can be an aspect of speaking, and as you get better, you'll get bigger opportunities. But when you're first starting, start your own meetup group. A women's group, a men's group, you're an expert. So you Chamber of Commerce, Rotary, there's all this low-hanging fruit in your own backyard. You could be a guest expert on a podcast, doing an interview cross-promotion like what we're doing right now, okay? So my number one recommendation is get started now.
Yep.
Don't wait to start speaking.
Yeah, so because with speaking, here's the thing. When you know how to structure your talk and talk about what you do, and you go to any kind of speaking gig that's going to have business owners at it, okay, as a financial professional, when you talk about what you do and you do it right, and we'll give you these 3 steps, you will get a flood of qualified leads right there from that call, right from that stage. So you can go, you take 20 minutes, you go down, you spend an hour, hour and a half at the networking event, you're on stage for 20 minutes to a half hour, and you come back with literally 10 to 15 people that want to have a conversation with you about the potential of hiring you. Where else do you get that opportunity? It takes some skilling up, but it's way easier than trying to build a funnel and a website and opt-ins and all this sort of stuff when that's not even your jam.
Yeah.
So with leverage, you start to move into using speaking, and your business model shifts to where now you start to have your first hire, usually an assistant or a customer support. And you start to create leverage in your world and leveraged enrollments. So this is where maybe you're starting to have your own events. So if you're an established accountant or bookkeeper and you have hourly clients, by bringing events to your existing client base to educate them, because you're already educating them right now, okay, but you're doing it for free.
Right.
And you're doing it one-on-one in a conversation where you can have a little event and you have anywhere from 10, 15, 20 people in the room. And then you can begin to leverage to where you're coaching them on a group level, and you're packaging your services differently to include education and bookkeeping and all that. And you learn how to package what you do. Now you have a leveraged business model that allows you to generate an additional 6 figures to your bottom line without a lot of extra effort. In fact, less effort, because it's leveraged.
Now, one of the things that I want to emphasize here is, and I think you peppered it well, but I'd like to draw attention to it, is these aren't necessarily speaking engagements where I'm having to find these people and bring them to an event. There's a lot of places where they're already an audience and you're invited to speak to this group that already congregates. This is also not you speaking to hundreds or thousands necessarily. It could be merely speaking to 10 or 15 or 20. These groups don't have to be overwhelming and intimidating. They can be more intimate and kind of social, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, the small local talks is where it's at.
Yeah.
We've now built a multiple 7-figure company that serves clients all over the world from small local talks. That's where the money is. And the key is that you have to have a system. So that's what we teach at our event, our Speak Your Path to Cash system. We'll go over kind of the overview of those 3 steps here so you can get some value with us while we're here together. And, what's remarkable, Roger, is that our clients have gone on to speak on stages like Tony Robbins, CNN, The View, Good Morning America. The list goes on, using our system. So we teach you how to get the speaking gigs, what to say to the event planners, to get booked, how to position your credibility so that they see you. Ooh, I want him as the speaker. I want her as the speaker. So how to basically have a conversation with a meeting planner so that they choose you. And then once you get that gig, what's the signature talk? What's your go-to talk that you're going to basically use every time you take the stage? Designed specifically to get leads, prospects, and appointments. So you're not even making a big paid offer from the stage.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I like about what you're discussing is the speaking is you're trying to come up with a common story that you can say repetitively and become better and better at, but it's also deliberate in its purpose, generating leads and so forth. So there's an action item that's associated with that.
Yes. Yeah. And for those people that are a little more shy or a little more introverted, this should give you a little more confidence and certainty, because it's kind of like a rock star who sings the same song, thousands of times, this is your song, your signature talk. You do it over and over and over again. And so then you get really good at it, just like you've done tax returns a million times, or you've done somebody's books a million times, and you're good at that skill, because repetition is the mother of all skill. So the more you practice being on stage, sharing your story, the better you get at it. And then what's awesome is as you're sharing your personal story, audience members come up to you. Yep. And they're like, oh, thank you so much for sharing that. I went through something similar. Oh, you're so brave. You're such an inspiration. Oh, I could feel your heart. So you were talking earlier, excuse me, you were talking earlier about the credibility and then the vulnerability. Okay, so we call this the credibility vulnerability dance.
And it's critical. It's probably the most important part of your signature talk. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is through the credibility, you have to establish why they should listen to you as an authority. Okay, just being on stage gives you a sense of authority. Then you have to prove, and you have to prove that authority through the credibility that establishes you as an expert. And then being able to temper that with the vulnerability of what you've been through brings in the heart. So that what happens at that point in time, they're like, wow. I mean, imagine what is it that an entrepreneur is thinking about when they're thinking about their money? They're sitting in their audience and they're thinking about, I got a tax bill that's due. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. I don't even know what it's going to be.
I hope it's not too much.
I've got a box full of receipts that's about 4 years old. I don't want anyone to see the mess that my finances are. I got to hustle to make money here. And then all of a sudden you come in and you're like, oh, with a dream that they can move forward on. And when you can paint that picture, I'm telling you guys, the world of entrepreneurships and money, they need help.
Yes.
There are, I would say 90% of them do not know what they're doing when it comes to their money.
Yes.
They need a solid coach, consultant, someone that they can trust that can walk them through how to save money, how to manage their income, and really how to be in a place of empowerment around their finances with their business.
Tax planning, tax strategy, how to lower your taxes. I mean, all of these things entrepreneurs are, quite frankly, pretty clueless on. Mm-hmm. So as a financial expert, they need you. They desperately need you. And then if you can show them how you can actually help save them money by hiring you, it's an easy decision, because this is not their expertise. Maybe they are a health coach, or they're an author, or they're a speaker, or whatever, right? They're not a money expert. So this is somebody that they need long-term. They need a trusted advisor, a wealth planning strategist, a confidant to be able to go to. And if they can feel your heart, you already have the credibility. The credibility is definitely there. But if they can feel your heart and you're presenting yourself as a real human, then it's going to be like bees to honey, that you're going to get so many leads and prospects and clients, and they're going to be the right kind of clients.
So When you were sharing some of that, I could go back in my own mind and remember so many things that I experienced personally to really experience what you're talking about. So first of all, to simply say that someone does tax planning and preparation, cash flow management, these things may resonate in your mind with the client in the sense that you feel you're offering a quality service, but it's not until you can give a story and help them see how it applies to them and the benefit that they're going to receive working with your services. All of those things need to be interwoven within your presentation. But the one thing I wanted to go back to is your point of giving your key or signature presentation so many times that it becomes like a rock star singing their song in a concert, to where it's that repetitive thing that they've done so many times that they're now able to get past the mechanics of it, and they're able to enjoy the experience and really tap into the audience now. Because rather than fixating on what's that next thing I'm supposed to be saying, oh, is it now I click the slide, is it now that I bring out the handouts, now you're doing it so frequently, you're able to enjoy the experience with the audience and kind of take off of their energy and play off of the feel of the group, simply because it's now something you're experiencing with them, and it's a presentation that is kind of a homogenous experience. I like how you were describing that. It's very good.
It's really fantastic you said that, because what most speaker trainers will do is, this is you as a person, and then we're going to give you what to say on top of that, and then you struggle with trying to figure that out. And then most people go into avoidance delay and go in a different direction. We're literally at our event Big Impact Experience, we have you do skill drills. So we basically are integrating the system into who you already are, because you're already great communicators. If you're having a glass of wine with friends, you're telling jokes.
Yeah.
There are areas in your life where you're dynamic and charismatic and funny. Mm-hmm. And so we show you with these small little skill drills how to bring that part out of you. And you're like, wow, I didn't even have to work at it. It just emerged. So having the inner game tools that allow that person to come out and then integrate that with a process and a proven system, it's magical. And that's why our clients are able to get results so quickly.
I love it. I absolutely love it, because I also know, I asked earlier about your advice to a starting accounting professional as they're starting their business. I know there's so many people out there that have been doing this now for years with their own business, with so many clients, and they're kind of almost trapped. It's like, I need to do something different. I want to give back. I'm at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I need to give back. And how can I do that? And speaking can be such a powerful way to now not just get new clients, but monetize your expertise and your experience and literally help people through speaking. Tell a story. Yes. And if I can say anything, it's just basically get out there and share what it is you've learned over all these years and monetize that experience.
Yes. We work with a lot of seasoned pros as well. Maybe they have a TED Talk or a couple. They're a best-selling author. They've been on the circuit, the speaking circuit, for a long time. Maybe they have experience with Toastmasters, right? And they consider themselves a pretty polished speaker. And the challenge that many of those particular professionals have is they often don't have a system to monetize their speaking.
Or their wisdom.
Or they are getting, like, if they're in the keynote track, maybe they're making 10 grand a gig or something, 10 grand a talk, but that's where the money flow stops. Right. Okay. So in our world, get the 10 grand on the front end, but then in your negotiation with the meeting planner, offer a free gift, which would basically be setting the appointment. And then you can have all this back end revenue as well that's selling into your group leveraged program. And so you're doing more consulting and more coaching. Okay, so if you're on the keynote track, start thinking of how can I actually leverage this opportunity even more. And so in our world, we'll show you how to turn that one keynote into 6 figures, not just the 10 grand.
That's right.
Or free talk into the 6 figures, not just, oh, nice, that was wonderful, you're such a great storyteller. No, we want to help you dance your way to the bank.
I think there's a great way to tie this into the niche if you're choosing to focus on niche marketing, because then you become the authority speaking professionally, and you've got this back end that's occurring that's now generating the revenues you're describing. So Mark, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think it's important for those people who are at that place. I love how you said at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and they're ready to give back. You want to be, one of the things you should be doing in business is, who am I called to become next? Who am I called to become next? You're getting these impulses all the time. And ultimately that means that you have to stretch in growth, but then things in your business and life start to become a little bit easier because you have a new awareness level. okay? And one of those things is that you become the face and the message and the voice of your business and your movement, okay? So at that point in time, you're tying your business to some kind of social problem, whether it's global climate change, I still like to say global warming, climate change, or healthcare. Wherever you're seeing an injustice or evil in the world, you want to start to put some kind of voice behind that and tie that to your business. But ultimately, you want to also move to a leveraged model to where you are no longer doing the fulfillment. Okay, you get to choose the fulfillment. Maybe you're doing the training, but then in that training, you have a team of bookkeepers and CPAs that are starting to do the fulfillment, and you become the voice and the rainmaker at that point in time. If you feel that vision to make that big of a leap. But what's wonderful about that is now your business is connected to making the world a better place, and you're really using business as a way to elevate everyone up towards that self-actualization.
Yeah, there's a whole new movement, conscious capitalism, right? How can you make money and do good in the world? John Mackey, he's the founder of Whole Foods. He wrote a whole book about it. There's a whole movement. Impact investing is another huge movement that is awesome. So what if as an investor, you consciously chose the stocks, the portfolio, the real estate investments, whatever, that you're going to invest in that's only in alignment with your values? What if you only will invest in companies that are giving back to children or to women or to Mother Earth? That you're not going to invest in a company that doesn't treat their employees, humanely. Like, you have standards that you make a conscious choice with. And so we call this conscious wealth. And so there's movements like this that are really impacting social change and making a bigger difference. And through the power of entrepreneurship and the power of money, you have so much power at your fingertips. And then imagine you actually wove some of this into your signature talk, and you inspired your clients, your business owner clients, to do the same thing. And this is what we call the big impact ripple effect.
And that's what we'd love to do, is we'd love to invite anyone who's paying attention here to become a part of the big impact movement. These are professionals that they feel like their business is meant to be something bigger, that they are meant to do something to contribute to the planet through the vehicle of business. And so we'd love to invite them to our event, Big Impact Experience. It's coming up right around the corner, where you're going to learn the business of speaking and how to incorporate a movement into what you do. And we're gathering together all kinds of people from all kinds of different professions, brick and mortar, finance, coaching, doctors. I mean, it's amazing the kind of people that are feeling this call and are coming together under the umbrella of Big Impact to have a big impact through their business.
I love that invitation, because I think so many of us are looking for a way that we can get our voice back, that we can now tell our story and say it in a way that's compelling, that's entertaining, and most importantly, has a call to action. Therefore, what? What next? Now, what do I do? And if you can clearly define that for your audience, then there's purpose to what you've shared, because you told your story, you gave some great information, but now they're able to act on it and do something to now change, hopefully, their lives or even more people's lives. So what more can you tell us about this experience? You say you come to the event, you attend it. If I remember right, it's a 2-day event. Isn't that correct?
Actually, it's a 3-day event. And you're 3 days. And you're going to learn our entire Speaker Path to Cash system. And let's face it, Roger, there's a lot of events out there, okay? So what makes Big Impact Experience different, and who is it specifically for? It's specifically for financial professionals, for money experts, for experts, really of any kind, experts. If you're brand new and you don't have the confidence of doing what you do, we're not going to help you become a better CPA. We're going to assume you already know how to do that. But what we're going to help you with is how to speak your path to cash. We're going to help you with how to get the speaking gigs, how to unlock that voice. We call it the voice of revolution, and how to bring in a cause. We call it your no more. Maybe your no more is women empowerment. And you're like, you know what? Women should be paid equal dollar for equal work. That could be a cause that you weave in to your entire platform.
And Shannon and I, we're products of the industry. So this is not going to be a talking head, take notes kind of event. This is, you're on your feet, rock and roll, party. We're edgy. We're going to be telling you stories. You're going to be going through a series of emotions. You might be feeling some sadness. You're going to be feeling fired up.
Now you're making me think of Landmark.
Yes. It's all by design, because you need to have an experience, an emotional experience, so that fundamentally the patterns that are running you are disrupted, so that you are a step closer to that person that you're called to be on the other side of the event. We're going to show you all about the inner game. So day one is really about clarity, getting the clarity in your business, clarity in your message, clarity in your business model. Day two is all about power, learning how to step into your power and present yourself from a powerful place so that you get out of self-doubt and overwhelm. And then day three is all about leverage. How do you start to build community? How do you have leveraged enrollment? And how do you take your business from one to many? And then we integrate all of that with experiential exercises and insights. It's an event where Tony Robbins meets Eckhart Tolle meets Bon Jovi.
Okay, there you go. You got Bon Jovi there as well. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Little 80s rock and roll. It's awesome. Yeah.
So my thing that's really intriguing to me here is this is an excellent way, like you said, Shannon, for an expert to now take their journey to that next level, to begin a new chapter, to tell their story and actually have a new experience where they truly can now have a voice and monetize that experience.
Exactly. And, for those of you that might be spinning your wheels with, well, what is my message? We're going to do some pre-training before the event. One of the pre-training is why finding your niche is such a bitch.
I actually like mine, but all right, you're good.
I know. Hey, you're doing pretty good with yours, Roger. Yeah, you got
the biggest challenge.
Great example,
sometimes people really struggle with knowing what their niche is, why they need one, and then you might run into that again when you're at a place of reinvention. Okay, so this is what I have been working with. Who am I called to work with now? What is the message that's in me now? And why is it? There's so much that goes on inside our mind that gets us stuck, that it can be really overwhelming and quite painful, honestly. So for those of you who are interested, go to bigimpactexperience.com. That's bigimpactexperience.com. We're offering a great special there for you to come and visit us in Austin for 3 days. Let us rock your world and be a megaphone for your message. We'd love that.
And more importantly, you get to spend time with Mark and Shannon. So that would be wonderful.
We'd love to hug you, say hi.
Yeah, so I'm going to put in the description this information so you can easily find what it is that they're talking about and find out how you can attend and make the most of this experience and get the training you really need to, I believe, actually get your voice so that you can now monetize what it is you're an expert in and really take your message to an audience that maybe you don't even know exists today. And that's going to be powerful. So Mark, Shannon, thank you so very much for your time and sharing all this. I thought it was fun. This was exciting. I trust everyone experiencing this we're liking it. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we go?
I would like to let people know that your voice matters.
Yeah.
The world needs your voice. Your voice could end hunger. Your voice could end racial inequality. It could end war. In fact, it's the only thing that has. The voice of revolution has been placed inside of millions of people. They're hearing the call. The question is are you willing to step up to the plate and live that calling? And that's what we've been put on the planet to do. So we'd love an opportunity to help you shape that message in a way that is more impactful and more empowering to yourself and the people you know and love than you ever imagined.
Very good. Mark and Shannon, thank you so very much for just being the kind, good-hearted people that you are.
Thank you.
Awesome, Roger.
And Roger, thank you for what you're bringing to the industry, the excellence that you bring, the energy that you bring. You have such a great vibe of professional and sophistication, but down to earth. Really enjoy hanging with you and interviewing you, and appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is wonderful.
My honor, my pleasure. Thank you. So just remember this, everybody. If it's about business, it is universal. So enjoy yourselves. Take care. And thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.